Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I thought I would talk to you guys briefly about something that kind of has come up that I've talked with back and forth quite a bit between Jerry Ward, because he and I, whether people realize it or not, one of the things that we've noticed is that he and I get along just fine behind the scenes. We have public disagreements on things, but when Jerry and I discuss things, we actually agree on more things than we disagree on. It's just that because we have differences of opinions on 10%, 15% of the subject matter out there, people think that we're on polar opposite extremes of things because only those differences get highlighted. One of us says something, all the subscribers, they run around and they say, oh, these two need to fight, they need to fight, oh, and it becomes a pissing match. And the reality is they don't realize that Jerry and I, we don't have a personal pissing match between us. We have a mutual respect between us. We're both mature. Well, I'm mature when I'm not in my Spartan costume or playing with my stuffed animals. But when I'm not doing those things, I'm actually pretty mature. Not necessarily for my age, but mature. And so is Jerry. He might be immature for his age too. But besides the fact is we're both middle-aged guys. We are capable of having a mutual respect with each other and having a dialogue back and forth that doesn't turn into an argument, and agree to disagree, present both sides of our case, and let everybody look at it and figure out for themselves what they want to believe, what they want to do based upon what we present. And we're both happy with that, and we're both content with the fact that if different people say, well, Jerry's right or Jason's right, and they run with that, they've heard everyone's stance on it, and they're free to make up their own minds, and that's a good thing. We need that in a free society where free thought is encouraged. Is for people to hear the different sides of the story, the different points presented maturely and without animosity or fighting, and decide for themselves what they want to believe. And those people who are involved in those debates, we don't take it personal. When Jerry kind of will take a little poke at me or I take a little poke at him in there, it's not personal. There's actually no drama there. We get along and we laugh about it. When we're talking in private, we laugh about it. It's all good. I would have no problem after one of those debates meeting up with Jerry if he lived nearby, and going and training together and going and grabbing something to eat after, just chilling and laughing. There is no animosity, there's no butthurt involved there. Unfortunately, we don't always see that in the community, and I think it is actually the trolls and the viewers who stir up 90% of these fights. Like, I've noticed that a lot of the fights that I got into were people sending me the material and agging on both sides, and I'm the type of guy that historically, even though I've changed that now, don't generally stand there and let someone pop off at me. I jump back in their face. In real life, I would react a lot more extreme than I do on the internet, because those are oftentimes personal attacks. But the thing is, these things don't have to turn into personal attacks, as you guys see with Jerry and I. And I know a lot of people, while we're on that topic, they got a little miffed over my stance with that other channel. I'm not going to say who it is. You guys know who it is, who made a video calling me a dictard and everything. And the reality is, the reason I didn't want to address what he's doing is because what I see the guy doing, it bothers me a bit as someone who does appreciate science. Because if you're going to run with bro science and anecdote, run with bro science and anecdote. If you're going to run with science, run with science. If you're going to do a mix of the two, be a mix of the two. But be honest about where you're coming from. And all I can see with that individual is bro science and anecdote. And I was a little bothered by what people didn't understand of why I made those little short statements that I did, was because I was really offended by the level of intellectual dishonesty. Of essentially, you had someone who is not only just changing the names and meanings of words and physiology to suit their needs as buzzwords, because some other bigger YouTube channels have used these words as buzzwords and used them incorrectly. So they ran with it for, it seemed to me to be just publicity because of the buzzwords, like overtraining and not using it in the correct context. And then a person basically seems to have a pattern of taking well-established, well-understood exercise science that everybody outside the bodybuilding world knows about. You guys got to remember, bodybuilding is a fringe training world. The mainstream training world laughs at bodybuilding and the ignorance that goes on. With the best bodybuilding experts in the world, they're usually considered morons in the real training world. That they're not even taken seriously, and magazine writers for the most part are not, in the bodybuilding world, aren't even taken seriously in the strength and conditioning world or the sports science world, and people who really work with real champions of performance-based sports that don't rely purely upon genetics and drugs. None of these theories are taken seriously in the bodybuilding training world, in the Olympic world, or the NFL world. And there's well-established, well-understood material and data and science that everybody knows already in the mainstream training world. And it's just a case of I saw that person taking material that is well understood, well documented, well researched. We already know these things work. And then saying, hey, this is something I came up with. I experimented with it with my own anecdote and it works, and I have created a whole new theory. And that's intellectual dishonesty. You're taking pre-existing, well understood, well implemented material used by top athletes and coaches around the world for decades, and then pretending you came up with it. I mean, come on, this is absurd. But the thing is, I didn't want to get into a big pissing match with this person because honestly, it's not worth my time, and they can say whatever they want, but if they're not willing to engage in intelligent discussion and dialogue at this point, I'm done with the bullshit fighting and drama videos. If they're not willing to engage in actual intelligent discussion and intellectual honesty, I'm just not willing to engage in debate with those people, and that's the end of it. And I think the model that Jerry and I have presented is really the way to go if people want to learn. Now, people just want to be entertained. Oh, we can run around and call each other fucktards, and I can put my Spartan costume on and threaten to fuck other YouTube channels in the ass and in front of their fans, and we can do all that if people want entertainment. But if you want entertainment, go to the movies. If you want to actually learn something, or we need to discuss these things and help people reach their goals, help educate people, improve the body of knowledge in the training world and the nutrition world, then we need to have mature intellectual conversations, and we need to have dialogue and discussions that do not turn into arguments and ad hominem attacks. And that's really what I think the YouTube world needs more of these days. And I appreciate the way that Jerry and I interact on that. And I think we need a lot more of that. All right, guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative. Yeah, look at that delt. Delts are finally coming in a little bit. And I will talk to you guys next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot before I go. Oh.